but this shit goes back. This goes back way deeper than some little 1930s, 1940s. That's the cover. They did do that. I'm not saying they didn't do it. They did. But that's the cover. That ain't what really messed it up. And the mothers came, and I mean, I cried. It took me a few weeks. I was broke down because I was mounted by like hundreds. I mean, I'm a person who could carry a lot of spirit and energy. And it was like dooms, it's like tombs. And so I had to like as many of the mothers as I could lay and touch and honor them. And so when I got it in the spirit, and the channel was like over about 2.8 million of what we call our years, it was like a war broke out. And so what you're saying about like the women getting along is so important and deep because most women have something where either they've had an issue with a woman or their mother, right? That's the dis-ease. That's the dis-ease.
They call it the mother
wound. And that's what
wound.
has to be broken. And so and this has gone on for a while, for a long time. And I'm grateful, like at least with my mom and grandmother, I didn't have that. My daughter that I have, I love my baby. I ain't do my daughter like that. But this right here, where they put the thing, what we talk about, what Spirit told me I had to come and expose was the hand behind the hand. Right? So we knew folks saw first, they thought it was white folks. Then we know we heard about the dirty Moors. But even those who was placed in positions of why we hated our people was really hating men. It was these women, these false mothers and false matriarchs who put them in position to hide their dirty work. And so it takes a God to make another God remember that you're not a God. I'm going to repeat that for you one more time. It takes a God to make another God forget that you are a God. So it was somebody very old and very ancient who did not want to come up off their seat and off their throne for their daughters, because we passed it to our daughters that did that. So that's why in this time we have another chance. And number one, we're not dealing with the unrighteous matriarch. Like, I'm gonna let y'all handle the men and the chiefs. That ain't my job. I ain't no man. That's why when my sons, they of age, I didn't pass them to the men. Like, Chief Judge, you take them from here. Who I'm dealing with is the women. Because see, they didn't hear too goddamn long. And they thought that they got away with it. And you like, just like how the dirty Moors thought they hit, but even my beef, even though I got beef with them, my beef ain't even all the way with them. My beef is with the helpers who put them in position. Put them in position. Because they don't want to get off their seat, and they know that we're supposed to carry these seats for so long, and we're supposed to pass it to your door.
Let me tell you exactly how they did it and where they did it and who they did it with.
Oh, I seen it because they showed it to me. And I'm telling you, I was hurt. I went through the 5 stages of grief. I was angry. I was in shock. No, I was in shock first. Like, what? I was shocked, angry. I went through so many stages. I was like, they did what? Because I just couldn't believe. I was prepared for this.
Let me give you the background. We trace everything back, all of the corruption of the world. We end up in a central location. Today we call that location Babylon. Right? But it had other names. It was called Babel. It was called the land of the Chaldees. It was called the Sumer at large. But all of the time that was going on, it was still the suburbs to Kemet.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, when we trace back, we make a stop in the 18th dynasty in the priest wars.
Yes. Yes.
Right? In the 400-year captivity in Babylon of the so-called Jews is where they got the material in the 18th dynasty to fight priest wars in secret. Now, here go the part we don't know. All of the priests back then was women. This was a harem conflict.
Yes, yes, yes.
In the conflict of the harems, right, the Amun priestesses wanted to silence the Aten priestess. Now, how do we see this play out in modern times?
I heard about it like the Council of the Wise Elders, what we call the Council of the Wise Elders. I know exactly
Watch this. When you sitting in church and you see a young, attractive girl walk in, and then you hear some unprovoked old lady say, "Look at her, she thinks she everything. Oh, look, pissy tail slut." The girl didn't even do nothing.
Walked in. I went through it a lot. We all went through it when we was in church.
Right, because she's attacking her at her beauty. She's condemning her because of her beauty. Beauty is one of the, that was what made men turn to stone looking at Medusa.
Yeah.
That was metaphoric, not literal. And she whoop their ass as soon as they get froze like that, because they don't think she gonna fuck them up. She gonna give them the business. And she had two sisters with her. They called the three of them together the Gorgons. Right? Medusa is the priestess ranking system of the Sa, the Dula priestesses.
Yeah.
Right? The highest rank you can be is Medu. That means that you've reached the highest attainment. Alpha meets Omega.
And on the Hindu side, they call them the Deadly tribe as well.
Yep. And in Greece, they call the Delphi. And
even still in what they call now China, because actually the spirit led me to it, they actually belong to their own military, like they're their own branch, but they don't go out and fight a war. It's a spiritual side. Like I'm telling you, this stuff is deep. Yeah.
So when you trace back from the 18th dynasty, where the literature that's still in circulation called Talmud and Mishnah, right, and the Sephira and all these other spiritual writings that they brought out of Babylon,
right,
after the 400, there was no Torah yet.
Right.
There wasn't no Torah yet. Wasn't no Bible yet.
Right.
They wasn't walking around, Jews or Hebrews or whatever you want to call them, was not walking around with a Bible, let alone an Old Testament, because the New Testament is older than the Old Testament.
Well, first of all, we are I always tell people, you the 67th book of the Bible. Like, we are the walking word. We stopped channeling and getting our information from within and started depending on a man, and then have to start worshiping the gods, or what you call the gods, which was spiritual helps or ancestors or deities. Like, they just miss us. It's like, what happened to you? Do you know how many various incarnates you had? Like, how old and ancient? Like, if you got I tell people, you got an altar to yourself, you can get yourself a discernment. You literally
genetic similarities causes the Sybil effect. Right now, the Sybil effect is when multiple women, they think they're the same historical creature or personification, because that historical personification is the same DNA signature, and they all activate.
The only Phoenix and the only God and the only whatever, and it's like, girl, you're not the only one. And they over here then lost their mind because they didn't channel and went too fast, too deep, and didn't get all their Akashic records right, and want people to worship them. And ain't nobody finna worship you. Shit.
That ain't even what the guy's supposed to have been doing anyway.
Exactly.
The guys ain't here to worship them.
You out of order. You're supposed to be here helping the people. But they let you know again, that's a definition. Yeah, that's a child, that's an unrighteous goddamn matriarch. But anyway.
Now, so when we get to Babylon,
do nothing but talk, and she knows she'll get her ass whooped. But anyway, come on.
Yeah. So when we get to Babylon, we discover something called the Anunnaki Wars.
Come on.
Right? They're not called Anunnaki Wars. They called the conflict of gods. They don't look at it like war. War is a game that humans play.
Yes.
Okay.
Explain why war is a game that humans play, because of the Brahim.
We'll come back to that. So when we trace the war back, who was the generals that was commanding these wars as gods? And then you find out it was two opposing paradigms being pushed. It was Prince Ea, we know him as Enki, and his brother, who we know as Enlil.
Correct.
Right? Enlil, also known as Yahweh. And when you get to Europe, he becomes Zeus.
That's what Rashad was. People wasn't listening to him. That's what he was trying to tell people.
Yeah. Zeus and Yahweh is the same person. So when you find out Alexander was given the credit for conquering the world when he conquered India, but it wasn't India yet. It was Hindustan, right?
Yes.
So Alexander got something called the Scrolls of Destiny, which tells you how to govern planets of people.
Yes.
Right. And in there, he learned to control economics, education, entertainment, labor, law, politics, religion, sex, and war.
What they call
They using the moon.
literature. It's a whole thing, but they were actually deities. What they call arrhythmia and all that. Those are actually deities. They was worship. But they was mothers, actually feminine energy.
So Enlil married a person that came through a portal in a mirror universe to this one. Everything from that universe is upside down and backwards to this one.
The Stranger Things. Think about that show, The Stranger Things. If anybody got kids that watch The Stranger Things, they talk about the upside down. That's what they was talking about. Okay, come on.
Yeah. So when he opened the portal, his wife can't sit on the sacerdotal seat because the appearance of a phallus.
Yes.
Right? And because of the masculine expression, even though it had two X chromosomes, which gave it mitochondrial rights, it had something that resembled a male genitalia, which prohibited it from sitting on Big Mama's seat. In other words, Big Mama said, that bitch can't sit on my seat, her ass nasty. So the measure that they used to control us was put the bitch from the Mirrorverse in charge as the divine mother. And every chance you get, you have to disgrace Kali Ma. You have to disgrace Inanna. You have to disgrace the priestess of the Delphi. You have to disgrace the divine Isis. You have to disgrace all of the feminine orders. So with that, the ruling order is the one from the Mirrorverse. That's why Holly Weird is upside backwards. Half the people we think men is women, and half people we think women is men. And they each other. And the term they use is, she my lipstick and he my mustache. They don't recognize gender because they come from a alternate reality of this. If you ever watch the show Sliders, that'll tell you how they got here. But they can control it better than the characters in Sliders. They can dial it up like your address on GPS and open it up and you can walk right through. That's how you can get from Arizona to the Egyptian pyramids in Cairo. The same way you can get to the Himalayas, the same way you can get to Australia, New Zealand. It's several of them up the Amazon, along the Amazon River. Most of them are covered up with trees down there now.
Marak. If you don't like what the fuck you hear, then you can get out. Because I don't know who you think you talking to, who you think you working with. I don't know what women you think you used to working with. But baby, I'm a bona fide assassin, and I will get you in your sleep, and you will not wake up. You better go ask your friends about me, because you ain't.
I advise you to find something safe to do, because you better go find something safe
to do. And I'm not playing. Okay, now go on. Because I'm not your mama, your girlfriend, or your cousin, or your auntie. And I give full closure. And if you don't like it, you may want to roll out if you want to live. Because I will eviscerate your whole family. You won't have no bloodline. You'll never be on this planet ever again.
These people was called archons.
Little weak ass nigga.
The archons have a replica under the Vatican of the Upper Vatican with the seat that the lizard bitch sitting in. I call her the lizard bitch, just like I call Queen Elizabeth bitch. Because she looked like a lizard. I mean, she don't look like us.
Not from this planet. She was not from this planet. She's not from this planet.
Right. Yeah. So just like in Doctor Strange, you walk through into the Mirrorverse, you can trap the magic inside the Mirrorverse. Right. So his wife was given 6,000 years to rule. That's what they said. The devil had 6,000 years to rule. But they didn't tell you where the devil was at. They didn't tell you the devil was living under the sacerdotal seat on a cross-dresser seat, because she can't sit on Big Mama's seat. So symbolically, they put the Pope's seat under Big Mama's seat, And the lizard bitch is giving the Pope the instruction, all three of them, the black one, the white one, and the gray one. And this is why they call the rulers of the society archons.
Yeah, they took his shadow because he called her the lizard. Region 2020. That's my little nephew. Nephew, they took your shadow from you. Now, you know what's look, but listen, it's funny you said that they did it 2020 because another little alien, matter of fact, the little aliens who be running Facebook and Instagram just said they made me do this and it was because of the government and I gotta stop doing it. But see, I'm gonna tell you this is what's going on. This is why they having to tell the truth. Again, I would do reality with astrology because it's all to me one. They're in their Pluto return, right? And so Pluto is the planet of rebirth, right? It rules Scorpio. Everybody know about Scorpio. It's two sides. You got the light and the dark, right? And it's the sign of the Phoenix. Scorpio actually, before it moved to Scorpio, was the Phoenix. Just FYI, in case folks didn't know that. But at any rate, what they was doing is they were at the end of their Saturn instead of moving to their Pluto return, which, hence, do you not know that during the Pluto return, we had the American Revolution, the French Revolution, the Haitian Revolution. This is the season of revolutions, right? So this is why these people are quite nervous because it's not going to be a season where everybody's going to be sitting like, okay, they don't want us to do it. That's why, like, towards the end, whether you think it was real or not, that whole thing with Luigi and the whole United Healthcare stuff, this is the time where people are going to rise up and separate themselves or want their freedom or want stuff away. And also the way that America, the United States in particular, is not for everybody, but America founded their country during the Pluto Aquarius, which you call your Pluto return. It's going to be a lot of internal divisions, like not only politically, but everything else. So
listen,
that's what,
you
you know, they
said that because today Trump was ordered
anyway, and it was just the worst thing that could happen. People over here crying on social media.
I'm not gonna say I'm not gonna call it the worst thing that could have happened.
It was one of the worst for me.
It was the worst thing that could have happened, that the civil rights movement was successful. Because it had to be successful for one thing. We had, if nothing else don't come out of it, we had to figure out how to kill racism. How you kill racism? Eliminate racism.
That's it.
And what's the name of America? The Great Melting Pot, right?
That's what they say.
Right? The land of milk and honey? God's crucible? What you do with a crucible?
Land of milk and honey. This really is a beautiful.
Okay, so God's crucible. Well, what happens in the crucible? You know what a crucible for, right? Right? So these are the terms that they telling you. Then they write books saying the secret destiny of America. Right? Masonic material. This is not commoner material. This is normally the brothers in the brotherhood read this type of stuff, and so they don't have to sit in the lodge and be bored to death trying to do all of them standing on the square, brother to the east, bow your head to the grand hierophant potentate and all that. They don't want to go through all that. Right? So they got to go and resign themselves to be a self-raised master. Using your past lives as your tools. If you didn't went through the rites of passage enough, you automatically know what to do. Right? So they writing all this material. God's crucible is a nickname where one drop of blood makes you one of us. What everybody say they is, they Cherokee. I don't give a fuck what they look like. They all Cherokee. Tell me
I don't even want to claim them. I don't even claim out them. It's like some of your
listen, it's for a reason though. It's for a reason though, because you know that Cherokee wasn't the name of the tribes.
Right, correct. Yeah.
Cherokee was an umbrella.
Yeah.
The umbrella was to catch all of the ones who come in as orphans. You don't remember sending your orphans, your downtrodden, your help. How do you help people that's effed up already when they get here from the same people that's invading us?
Right.
Brought them over as slaves.
That's why they were so mean and so harsh.
Right. So when the war break out, they capturing us and we capturing them. And this is why they tried to hide what's called the black slave trade in America. Right? We don't want to talk about that. Niggas owning slaves.
Come on now. And this is nothing. I challenge anybody. If anybody has pictures, see, this is why pictures is important. If anybody has any pictures of their great grandparents or anybody even to the late 1800s or so, I can almost guarantee you going when you see your great great grandparents, because I got pictures of my great great great. I got some back. How somebody gonna be slaves and they sitting in all these nice suits and have all these houses and have more things than we have? So my grandma and great grandparents never had owned 9 plots of land and sharecroppers, everything. So this lets you know that shit is a lie. It's not real.
Remember things I told you? Remember I said that they found out what we like and monetized it. They dressed one way, we dressed another way. The New Orleans culture adopted a lot from Spain and France when they came, but most of the culture in New Orleans, about 95% of it is New Orleans.
It is.
They always, New Orleans, the Big Easy, was always the capital of the land as far as what we call street life, nightlife, party life.
They will.
Right?
If you watch a show called Wicked City, they will show you that.
Yep.
Go, you got all that. Watch something called Wicked City. It's gonna break down some codes, but
okay. So in New Orleans, you go party in New Orleans and hang out with the people. The big mamas is watching you. And then when your temperament is seen from how you act, they go, one old lady gonna tell you, you know, baby, with the way you is, you need to be in Boston. Right? She gonna go. The same lady might tell a different dude, baby, the way you act like you belong out in Los Angeles. They checking your temperament and your temperature to make sure that when they send you somewhere, you can adjust to the local community and not upset it or get all the way up. When they started imposing themselves on us, that's why they needed a police force. They started following the laws of the culture of the people. They imposing themselves on the land.
Prisons of war. They just called in slave. They was prisons of war, baby.
Yep, on both sides. Yeah. Look, it's a book called Moors and Freemasonry.
Yes.
If you go to that book, if you go to that book, it's going to tell you that they was ransoming back captives. But you don't know that until you see the Masonic symbols on the shackles that they don't tell you is on there. Right? So inside the lodges, you had the War of the Roses, right, taking place in the Wild Wild West, which really wasn't even in the West. Right. You had your Hatfield and McCoys. Now go look where the West was when the Hatfields and McCoys is from.
Yeah, right.
Then why is the hell is we in California? Somebody did overstep their boundaries. They didn't cross the people on the land.
Out of their territory. Exactly. Thank you.
Yeah.
Exactly what happened. Because we knew what to do and where to go.
So, and everything is done on a stellar clock. Charles Mosley's Bay, Clock of Destiny. Or it's at Pleasant Bay. I keep forgetting. I be getting these authors mixed up. I done read so many books. But you got the Moorish Order of the Round Table got good materials that help you see the conflict between the adepts. This is a wizard war. When they say that adepts is at war, it's a wizard war. It's not no war.
I'm gonna give you the name of this book. It was called Masonic Astronomy and the Royal Arch Heaven. Masonic Astronomy and the Royal Arch. That book got, if you ain't read that, go get that. It really breaks down not only about all the planetaries, but it breaks down a lot of codes of what happened and what he kind of talking about, but how they switched and flipped the times and the weather and how they did, to me, what I call the weather spell. I know part of it, was because of the war, but it was a lot of stuff that they did that they worked on with it too. But it's called Masonic Astronomy and the Royal Arch of the Heavens.
And this is where you get your George Washington challenge from.
Yeah, as well as fake ass Benjamin Banneker, which a lot of people don't know that really wasn't his name because he was a dirty ass Moor. He the one who created the clock to put the time spell on us. A lot of people don't know this.
He designed the layout of DC, and he was the translator on the Lewis and Clark expedition.
Yes, he was.
He was surveying the land under Lewis and Clark to declare our castles empty because we was all fighting in the Gullah Wars.
Exactly.
And the
That's exactly
chiefs
what they do.
of the land don't send the soldiers to war without being in the front. Whereas the ones that came over here send the soldiers to war and they stand in the back. And that's how they was able to figure out how we was moving. They call us runaway slaves in the Seminole Nations, but we wasn't runaway slaves. We was others that the Gullah Geechee Big Mama called the war, all hands on deck. Tribes came from everywhere. All you got to do is look at the diversified communities in Florida and the ones that stayed to themselves, like Little Haiti, Little Jamaica.
Well, you know what? Not just that. I tell you this. I challenge you this, especially living here, but just traveling the land. If you didn't think that this was Turtle Island, I challenge you to get in your car and just drive. You will pass. Why we pass over so many bridges, y'all? Why do we pass over so many bridges? Why are there? If you go, I challenge you to just do this when you get off the live. Google how many bodies of waters or lakes or rivers, because you know they changed the names to lakes and rivers, are in. Do you know that, like in Florida, I think there's over 7,500 that they at least said it. Islands, they'll tell you the name is islands. They'll give you that much. Do you know even going over into the whole New York, New Jersey area? And do you know Alaska? Let's talk about Alaska. Do you know Alaska has over 12,000 islands? But I thought it was just ice. So if we have all these islands, this lets you know that this land is
look off the coast of Carolina. Look off the coast to the Carolinas. All that's Gullah Geechee territory.
Yes, and look at how big those mountains, I'm telling you. And we had different pyramids, I'm telling you, like when I travel and stuff, because it's different when you travel versus when you fly. We had some, which they called us the Mississippi mound builders, who may use like the dirt. When you go over there to Virginia, West Virginia, they were more on the stone. You had other people but it's like when you look at what they now call hills or mountains, which were really pyramids, you can see the steps, y'all. I'm telling you, you can see the steps of how big out in the beautiful architecture. And these people don't know. These people had to use some type of alien ass technology. I don't care what nobody says, because ain't no way they cut through no damn mountain like that. Ain't no way. They don't got no machine that's gonna cut through no pyramid
especially back in the 1800s.
Thank you. There ain't no way. There were people in skin suits, and you can't convince me of nothing else.
But they didn't have to be alien, because when Atlantis was fully operational, we had miraculous technology.
Well, yeah. Yeah, we done went down in technology.
All that stuff you see in science fiction is describing Atlantis.
Yeah.
It's really called the Atlan.
Yeah.
Tartaria is west of Rome.
Yep.
That don't have nothing to do with the ancient culture, more so than your Roman reference. Right? Then you got to know that the east of Rome was the Barbary. Right? That was where would be the equivalent. So you had Tartarian, Barbary, Rome, West, Rome, East, the two birds facing each other. So Rome being the center, because all roads lead to Rome. And all of the roads is in the maze, but when you end up following the maze successfully, you end up at the sacerdotal seat of the Great Mother. The priestesses of Mami Water. Yeah. Right? And the broken mirror spell was the broken mirror spell was what was used to break up that strong sisterhood connection. Yes. The broken mirror spell is a series of names on the mirror. You take it to the crossroads, you offer up an offering, and you break the mirror. That's why they say your mirror is 7 years bad luck, but it ain't bad luck. Right. It's conjure magic. And see, somebody put wade in the water. Thank you. Yes, wade in the water, because that was dealing with, the sirens, mommy water, that part. Water, we all had to come in water. That's number 2. 3, water holds memory. 4, I'm telling you, so much. Like, if you really know about the whole code of water, mirrors are portals. Is why y'all don't never need no mirror in front of your bed, because you travel. Because you can do mirror magic. Like, we do mirror magic now. Yep. I don't have no problem with the mirrors. They don't cause me any issue. Can we touch on the Prince of Persia topic? Somebody asked. Can we touch on Prince of Persia topic? So Persia is what you call today Iran. That was also Western Egypt. What they call the Middle East is Egypt.
Mm-hmm.
And what they call Egypt is not the Middle East, it's Egypt. Or what we would call it Kemet.
Yeah, it really is a phoenix. Yeah, it is.
Right? So the Prince of Persia was the heir apparent in the pantheon of the gods.
Mm-hmm.
The dread of the ruling sector feared that the Prince of Persia would rise to power. So they demonized it. The Prince of Persia would also be known as Heru.
Yeah.
Heru is the only hero in the hero's journey. You got thousands of heroes all in every culture, but they all the same one. It's just like all of the X-Men is the same person, but they just showing you different aspects, right? Unified field theory perception. If you want to find your way to the throne and you the rightful heir, you have to find yourself on every path to greatness. Some of your paths is going to be laden with struggle. This is your Atlas holding the world on his shoulders. Because sometimes you feel like you literally holding the world on your shoulders, right? This is Hercules rolling the boulder up the hill.
Right.
Right? The struggle of life make you strong enough for what you desire the most. Your best life scenario. If you have an ambition that's high enough, your struggles early gonna be greater than most people could bear.
Yes.
Like the ability to psychically see stuff but can't tell nobody because they gonna think you crazy.
Ooh. Yeah.
Or the ability to see when people running their BS, right? And they don't know that they really not BSing you, that you only giving them what you was gonna give them anyway. Right? So you can't say certain stuff. You have to endure all of the entitled people that feel like because they related to you, you supposed to automatically do for them.
Not no more, baby. That thing's in the book. Right. Not no more. We may used to.
But this is the training ground. You got to be trained for your destination. But life is gonna train you.
You know what fear showed me? That I had to learn how to say no. Because in too many lifetimes I said yes. And I suffered greatly because I did not learn to say no. So in this lifetime, when I came back, it was a couple of stipulations. One, I could not be in war and I could not like do no blood sacrifices, no war, no none of that shit. Two, I had to learn how to honor self and to like learn the word no and learn. Ooh, come on, spirit. And learn that sometimes your hidden enemies may come in your family. I'm gonna say that one more time. I have had some old ass ancient enemies. I'm telling you, they just. I'm telling you, it was one of the most powerful things, but I had to see it because I could see who they were, and it took me a long time to process that they reincarnated on purpose in my bloodline. I'm telling you, like spiritual stalking is real. If you don't believe in spiritual stalking, you don't know. I'm telling you, this is why you got to get past the seven chakra. Seven chakra, you still on 3D, y'all. The first seven chakra, everybody thinks that my third eye open and I see 1 through 7 chakra is third dimension. 8 through the 15th chakra is fourth dimension. Everybody keep talking about they on the fifth dimension. You're not even on the fifth dimension till you hit what they call the 16th through 22nd chakra. That's the true fifth dimension. And then it's 9 realms and dimensions in this realm. This is why we ain't telepathic and we don't know how to move shit out there no more because we're too low vibrational and they made us stop. And if you think about it, that's why they always showing just the hand and this with the third eye and this with the crown. That ain't nothing but third dimension shit. You gonna stay